Hey guys, welcome to the Cosmic Panel where today we have a guest, our coworker Mike. Mike, welcome to the Cosmic Panel.
It's a crossover that nobody expected.
Basically, we had the opportunity to watch Guardians of the Galaxy opening night, and so we decided, why not make a review with Mike since he watched it with us. And yeah, so overall, just in one sentence, what does everyone think about the movie? One or two sentences. Mike, kick it off.
Two gut punches in a row. Because,
Two gut punches in a row.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was a gut punch because of the sad stuff, and this one had just as much sad stuff, if not worse sad stuff. But not in, like, a bad way, but in a, like, you would have to be, like, a psychopath not to have any emotional reactions to the movie.
Exactly.
Right.
No, very true. What about you, Elias?
Um, I think it's the best Guardians movie, and while it has the most CGI, it's the most emotional.
Yeah. For me, I think my one sentence would be I'm so excited for the DC universe. No, in all seriousness, this is a return to form for Marvel, I guess is the best way to put it. I think this is the quality that we hoped that they would hit after Endgame, and they just have not. And this is like this is what the standard should be. This shouldn't be like the peak of it.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
It felt like a comic book turned to life, you know?
Yeah.
So you could tell that there's different style writers and directors for these movies too. James Gunn, like, he'll do his comedy stuff, but for the most part, like, when he wants characters to be taken seriously, they're taken seriously. There's no full just comedy throughout it. Kind of like Taka Waititi's stuff. Like, a lot of it's just over the top silly. But then, like, after that movie, they had Black Panther 2, which was a super more serious tone movie, and this is a more serious
Yeah.
tone movie.
No,
And I
100%
wish,
agree.
It balances moods really well.
yeah,
Yeah.
because, like, I smacked Lucas in the arm halfway through the movie because I was upset about Adam Warlock, and every time I wanted to be pissed off about how they cast it or how they portrayed Adam Warlock. The guy that they casted looks like a really good, like, fit for Adam Warlock, but it's just the
He's a
personality
really
that I
good
didn't
actor
like.
too.
Every time I wanted to be angry about Adam Warlock, they did something that made me either laugh or made me go like, "Oh shit, like, this is really cool." So if that's the only weak point of the movie, I'm fine with that. I'm 100% fine with it. I do feel bad for the guys that ran around and bumped up the price of the first appearance of Adam Warlock, because it's gonna go like the same way as Taskmaster, where it's definitely not like a direct translation of the character at all.
Right.
Yeah, 100%. Um, let's go over some of the Guardians and a little bit of their arcs. I'm just curious. Well, what did you guys think of Rocket's arc in this film?
Rocket really was the focus. I think it took a character that maybe you took for comedic value a lot of the time, a lot more seriously. Obviously, he's always been, a tech whiz, but this really excellently delved into why he's so good with tech. And while High Evolutionary is not at all like this in the comic books, I think they did a good job of making a compelling villain and tying him into this Guardians universe by making him the creator of Rocket. But yeah, Rocket's flashbacks were amazing, as compelling, if not more compelling than the main story at times.
I honestly think definitely more.
Yeah, and I thought it was excellent.
They did a really good job with High Evolutionary, where if you read the comics, he's kind of really one dimensional. There's nothing really too, like, big and bombastic about him. So they had to cast somebody, and they had to write the character in a way that would make him stand out. A, to make you want to be like, "Ooh, I hope that guy gets, his ass kicked." B, they had to do something to make him stand apart from all the vanilla, like Stark Tech type villains that they have popped up in most of the MCU, and they did a really, really, really good job.
I like that his powers were clearly defined too. Like it was gravity manipulation. That was it. Like there wasn't any like vague explanation. Like literally, I got control over gravity. Done. They're like, thank you. You explained everything we need to know. We don't need to like. There's no additional stuff we need to like power scale you against.
I think it was more so cool that while he was experimenting on other people, he was also experimenting on himself. And I like how they showed that he was like his mind was getting addled by that process too. He was just to show that he was like really like just unstable instead of just being, and also that he wasn't interested in universe domination or whatever. He was just interested in creating the perfect society, so it gave him like a goal and a purpose, where it wasn't like it wasn't a universe shattering adventure, right?
Yeah.
Which is what a lot of Marvel movies are.
It's the thing is that I think that really sets him apart from other Marvel villains, at least especially in this phase. He has a goal. Him and Namor, I would say, are the two most compelling recent Marvel villains. I mean, because they had a specific goal in mind. Him, make counter Earth, make a perfect society. Namor, get the Wakandans on his side. All the other villains kind of felt like aimless. And that kind of definitely detracts in the movie when you're trying to feel sympathy for them.
Right. Yeah. Another thing that the more I thought about it, as wild and crazy as the stuff is that they do in the movies in terms of like realism, the whole approach to Rocket Raccoon was actually really more realistic than we think, because raccoons themselves as animals are problem-solving animals. They're always adapting, they're always inventing ways to succeed and thrive. So it made sense, kind of, for the character to be able to adapt and invent things and be able to adapt to its surroundings. And, it made sense because, and like this is a layman's terms, but like raccoons are the cockroaches of the mammal species.
That's actually a pretty good analogy.
Yeah.
But one more thing before we move on to the next character. Also, the body horror with fucking Rocket when he was like being transformed. Like, I love that they didn't show it. They didn't like fully show it, but you got him post the surgery, and plus when the Guardians were seeing like him being operated, they were like, "This is fucking awful."
The
like,
fact that you're about to say it. You're about to say it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that that Nebula is like, this is worse than what Thanos did to me. It's like, what the fuck?
That's heavy. I don't know, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, like when you think about it, they literally had to break his bones and because the thing is, like, a raccoon's arms does not go like this. They stay like this.
Yeah.
So to even get him to get the full range of motions, they would have to break it completely, break his ribs. Like it's just like literally they have to basically like break every bone in his body and then rebuild from there, which is horrifying.
I mean, you see all the places that they like put, metal plates on and stuff after his first like operation, because you don't see that because I guess his hair grew back on his head, or whatever, but like they mess with his head and stuff.
Well, his skin like regrew over.
Yeah,
I guess his scalp. Yeah, because they were messing with his actual brain so that he could be more intelligent, I guess.
Right.
Moving on to the next character, Star-Lord. What do you guys think of his arc? I actually didn't find Chris Pratt annoying this time, which was surprising.
I was gonna say.
All right, so I'll tag in for this one because I have a lot of fondness for Star-Lord because I feel like he's a latchkey kid, and I grew up as a latchkey kid. As in, like, bounced around the universe, had to grow up a lot earlier because, single parent home and everything. While you think that this is your favorite movie, the second movie is, for me, I think a perfect movie. I absolutely love it. I had a really bad breakup the next day after it, and also had some really emotional stuff tied to it. So when I look at his arc, and it just blows me away. And like I kind of wish that, like, especially with a lot of the stuff that went on in my life when I was younger, that I had the ability to go and do the things that he got to go do instead of dealing with the stuff that I dealt with. So it gives me like a nice little like nostalgia, like fantasy thing. For the longest time when I was a kid, like I associated with villains and everything like that, because like I had a lot of like abusive like stuff go on. Not to go like too deep or anything, but so like Daredevil was my favorite superhero. Star-Lord's my number 2. For the amount of source material that they had to work with for the character, like literally, if you want to read up Star-Lord, like his backstory and everything like that, especially from like the 70s, it fits into one trade paperback. That's how little material was written for him.
Yeah.
I think they did a really, 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 really great job. Now, Chris Pratt aside, I think it was really well done. I like that he got the half sister. I'm sad that I never watched the Christmas special, because now I feel like I should go watch it, because I feel like it's like a separate movie all on its own.
It's fun. It's fun.
It's
only like an hour long too. It's nothing too crazy.
I mean, are we getting into spoilers with this, or?
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah,
we already got in deep.
I hope that what they're hinting at the final trailer at the end of the movie is that he's getting his own series. I would like to see him.
I would assume they're
but I would like to see him on Earth.
Right.
Yeah.
Just on Earth, not like doing crazy shit.
Yeah, no, that'd definitely
exactly.
be cool. I think I really loved his ending, that the fact that he saw like, yeah, I've been running my entire life. I literally I've always been running from one danger to another. I've never had a chance to just process my fucking emotions. And so now it's like, yeah, here I'm going to go back and I'm going to just take some time for myself and just finally acknowledge it.
Yeah.
I hope he sees a therapist.
Right. But yeah, to Mike's point, like, just the heroes that you can, they're comic characters that you can relate to are always the best, you know? And so, yes, it takes it to a sci-fi level, but it's in concept, in base concept, it's a very relatable kind of character, and it's a great fantasy where this kid gets to run away to adventures in outer space, you know? Yeah.
Basically, yeah. I also love, there was one key thing, and I think I told this to Elias, but I love that Gamora and him do not get back together. Gamora died. That version that he loved died. And I love that they didn't undermine Infinity War by being like, but she's still alive. Like, no, she died. That weight is still there. And he has to move on. But he doesn't do it in a they could have easily gone a toxic route and literally made him like be like, no, you have to date me, like, et cetera, but they didn't. And I very much appreciate that, because I was worried about that.
This was the closest portrayal of Gamora to the comic version prior to the Guardians of the Galaxy run. This was the closest to the Jim Starlin, like, most dangerous woman in the universe, Gamora, that I've seen, especially her personality and everything like that. So it was really cool to see that on one hand, I had a problem with one character. On the other hand, they nailed the landing on the other, because for a while I just thought that she was really silly and too emotional and everything like that. But they really stuck the landing and got the character to where it was.
Yeah. I think when you give James Gunn the reign, just let him like do what he wants to do. He really does know these characters and he cares about them, and I think it's really obvious when you just see the amount of work he puts in. Like, yeah, we might not like Adam Warlock, and I have my own theories that it's more because like he was taken off the project and then brought back in, but even like when you got Adam Warlock at the end, like I felt a little bit more satisfied than how he started in the beginning.
Right.
Like I could see something starting there. Like, will it lead to anything? I don't know, but it's something. I rather something than him just like not acknowledging and just keeping Adam Warlock as this dumb idiot the entire time.
He was definitely a side quest for the writers and directors, but I think it was his opening scene was very dramatic and brutal, just in that he just beat everyone's fucking ass.
When he started just beating the fuck out of Drax, I legitimately thought he was about to kill him.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. There were a ton of fake outs throughout the movie because all the spec coming into this movie is that a bunch of people were going to die. And, like, you could tell that they were playing on that because it's, like, time after time again. Like, Drax had a big chunk blown out of his chest. Peter went back for his Zune. Like, it was really cool that nobody died. That was the thing that I really liked, was that the characters they're still alive. Nobody snapped themselves out of the MCU. Like, there's still a chance that, like, 5 years from now they could get together.
Exactly.
Right. I was surprised by that, though. I really thought that, because, the main guys, RDJ and Chris Evans and whatever, they want out. They wanted out, and they got out, either by killing their characters or whatever. But I'm surprised that nobody tried to get out, and they really played with your heartstrings all throughout the movie and really, kept you on the edge of your seat. And I can just say that I'll have a much better time watching this the second time, knowing that no one's going to die, and just enjoy it for, the other stuff too. But it's a great demonstration in dramaticism,
I think that I like that James Gunn somehow subverted us by not killing anyone. like it's funny. Usually killing someone is a subversion of normal stuff, but instead it was like a reverse subversion where we expected him to kill someone, and every time we would get there, he was just like, and they're fine.
Right.
Like, I thought Drax was dead when the Orgum guy, like, shot him. The Orgo's security guard. Like, I thought he was dead. I legitimately was like, oh, he's fucking dead. And then he was just fine. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or when Peter, like, froze in fucking space and his fucking face started blowing up like a balloon.
He went from Chris Pratt to Dwight from The Office, like, in a matter of seconds.
Basically,
you mean to what the fuck was his name in
Parks and
Rec?
He turned into the Meat Canyon version of Dwight, by the way, not the regular Dwight.
Yeah,
but it was also Adam. I really love that God meets man moment. Where it's like the one thing cool. that was a cool shot. I love the cinematography too. The cinematography was really well done. Even in CG environments, James Gunn always knows where he wants to be.
Yeah. There were some really amazing, obviously, action sequences as far as cinematography is concerned. But there was also just a lot of effort put into camera positioning and stuff like that, which is refreshing to see in, MCU movies in general, I'd say.
Yeah. Can we also talk about the fucking hallway scene? Like, that was if I was telling Elias this while we were watching the movie, but that was the first time we saw the Guardians actually fight all of them together. Like, since the second movie, like, we have not, in Infinity War and Endgame, we did not see all of them together fighting together. And this was the first time where we got to see them, like, this is the years that they spent together really showing off. Right. Like, they just knew each other's moves so well. Like, it was so cool.
What was really cool for me was when the Annihilation books came out, I was reading them as they came out. So I got to experience them, like, month to month to month. And I don't know if you guys knew the correlation or not, but the uniforms that they were wearing were the Suicide Mission uniforms that they wore in the first Annihilation Conquest book. Like, originally, they were not supposed to survive. They were not supposed to survive.
Yeah, they were just fodder.
And the book did really well sales-wise, so they were like, okay, we have to keep this going. That's the only reason why they went forward with like the next stuff, was because like after the first issue came out, I think like the retailer ordership went up by like 250% for issue 2, because like everybody loved that book and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad that they had. I'm glad that they brought those suits in at the end. I think that was really awesome. They look super clean, very faithful. I was surprised though, now that there was no face mask for Star-Lord at all in the film.
Yeah, wait, I didn't even think about that. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Well, it got destroyed during Endgame or Infinity War, right?
I would have liked them to at least bring the
Sure.
mask back because of the costumes, because of the
I didn't even-
outfits. I know
I
they're
just
not
didn't
going to
even
give
realize.
him. I know they're not going to give him the hat or the helmet, but
Chalk it up to them not wearing it back, like, and not like the director, but chalk it up to them just running to do something without thinking. Like, as in, like,
Yeah.
your friend's dying on a table. The last thing I'm going to remember is grabbing my faceplate before I go out to fight.
Sure.
I didn't even realize. Like, honestly, I did not realize until you just pointed that out.
I thought I was thinking about that last night. I was like, oh
Yeah.
no, we didn't get any of that mask. I just really like that design for for him. So
Which is why the big deal space scene was such a big deal, because had he had that faceplate, he would have been fine in space.
yeah,
True,
for sure.
that is very true. Also, okay, moving on to the next character, and this will be the last one that we tackle before we talk like just closing remarks about the movie. Adam Warlock. let's address the elephant in the room.
Sure.
Mike, you can start since you are obviously more well versed in Adam Warlock than both of us.
All right, so there are 3 iterations of the character in comics. There is the super serious Jim Starlin run version of the character, which was the 70s. During the 90s, after the Infinity Gauntlet, that's when they started delving into like the silliness of the character, but not dumb interbred royal silly, but like they went to Monster Island, Pip the Troll would make like comments and stuff like that. And then the 3rd iteration of the character was basically naked Bowie walking around because he just hatched out of a cocoon during Annihilation Conquest.
Yeah.
Basically.
So in terms of visuals, the kid that played him did a really good job of getting physically fit and into the role, because he literally looked like something that came off of a Jack Kirby page. Like he looked like a perfect human, basically, is what they were going for.
Right.
I did not like that her, which is the sister version of Adam Warlock, was his mother. I did not like that they were stupid. Like they just seemed like really like naive, interbred, uneducated, like royalty. And it bothered me, but he wasn't meant to be the like star of the show.
Yeah.
And I get that, which I'm totally fine. I'm hoping that he has some kind of character development going forward, because obviously they want to go forward with him. But this is definitely not the version of Adam Warlock that gets a hold of the Infinity Gauntlet or comes out of the Soul Stone. Like, that's the other thing. Like, I was hoping that, like, the stone on his head was going to be the Soul Stone, and maybe, like, that would be the fix for Gamora if they were going to fix Gamora, because her soul would have been trapped and he could have just went in, grabbed her, and pulled her out. But
maybe it would have felt a little bit too easy for me personally.
I like the current iteration of the Soul Stone, where they tell you that, like, when you get a hold of the Soul Stone, your soul stays there. Like, you don't get out. I don't know if you guys read, like, Jerry Dugan's run of Guardians of the Galaxy, but there was, like, a prequel story that he did where they showed Gamora as, like, a 90-year-old woman stuck inside of the Soul Stone. And I liked that iteration. So, like, I was glad that, like, he didn't just reach in, pull her soul out, and go, here you go. So.
Right. I think it was an interesting choice to make him, a byproduct of the High Evolutionary. I guess it makes the most sense for them to be able to join all these, characters in one movie, because it is a lot of players and a lot of characters to deal with in one movie. I guess the silliness and the ignorance of those characters can be chalked up to the High Evolutionary's failure as well. I don't think the mother should have been quite as silly as she was, but
Yeah.
I think she was still relatively more in charge than Adam was. I think they make a point of being like, Adam was brought out of his cocoon early, so he's not fully developed, so he's not like really all there yet, I guess. The moment I did think was funny was like when he just fries the Ravager without thinking. But like, there were, besides that, I don't think they needed to make him like that dumb. But again, like, I think the opening scene did a lot for him just to show off his power, and just show how serious he could get. But then obviously as you go on, you realize that he's sort of just following orders and figuring out things as he goes. I think that, his suit was really cool and his look was very good. I like that they decided to keep the skull on the lapel. I thought that was nice.
Yeah.
A nice hint and a nice nod, and also that they even had anything on his head in general was nice. But yeah, he definitely, again, was not the main focus.
Yeah, I really like that he didn't talk for like the intro scene. Like, he was just very stoic. And I legitimately thought we were going to get that for most of the movie, was just he just didn't talk.
Mm-hmm.
Or like he would just respond yes or no, like very, very bluntly. And then the arrow bit happened. And he was like, "Who threw this arrow?" And I was like, "Oh," like very comedically. So I was like, "Okay, this is fine." And then it just kept progressing. And yeah, I definitely agree. It was very, it was very jarring, especially at first. But the way the character ended, I feel like this is the start of his journey, not where he's ending. And I like that. And I don't feel like we're getting another Drax in this scenario, because I kind of thought that for a second. Like, in the beginning, I was like, "Oh, are we getting another Drax, but just stronger?" This feels like, no, this is a person that's learning how to be a person. And this is him developing not only common sense, but also like empathy. Like he really cared about that animal. I don't know what that was a reference to exactly. But like, I like that, like, you can see every time he's like, don't hurt it, please. Because he's
Right.
slowly learning how to actually care for something.
Yeah.
In the comics, he always had like a soft spot for like monsters and like creatures and stuff like that. Like, especially like in terms of pets. The one thing that I'm really anxiously looking forward to is when they start dealing with more of the Eternal stuff. I think that's where they might have him hit his sweet spot,
Yeah,
because they have the whole cosmic thing planned out. And on top of that, like, remember in Shang-Chi, like, the rings are bringing something to Earth. We don't know what they're summoning, but something is coming to Earth. So
probably the
obviously
Makawans.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did Fing Fang Foom, to be honest.
Yeah,
Like, just make it like a
I think
big bad,
probably
like,
Fing Fang Foom.
but I think we're getting small chunks of a bigger story that we're not even sure what the big story is, because a lot of people think the focus is going to be on Kang, and I think Kang is kind of a paper tiger. I think there's going to be a bigger, more substantial cosmic threat coming, and I think they're slow burning, like, building it.
Do you think we're gonna get like a combination between like maybe the Makawans, like the dragons, and like Annihilation Wave? Like maybe it's like a fusion between the two story arcs, and like they bring like creatures from the negative zone or something, and like this is like a major threat toward Earth, and then we get the Eternals and Guardians working together, maybe.
If they were smart, they would do something
If
where,
they were smart.
yes, if they were smart, they would do the Fantastic Four, they would do the Coming of Galactus, but when Galactus comes, instead of him like feasting on Earth, the reason why he doesn't feast on Earth is because there's a bigger universal threat, which is the piercing of the negative zone into the main reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it really does fall on the FF movie now because I don't know how Eternals things are going after that first film. I don't think it performed too well.
Yeah, it was.
I did not enjoy it.
The only thing that I'm looking forward to from that movie is Harry Styles as Star Fox.
Star Fox, yeah. But Eternals is like an example of how to not introduce a wide ensemble cast.
They did.
Yeah,
they did the opposite of what they did with High Evolutionary with the Eternals. They didn't make any of the characters bombastic enough, except for like, oh god, I can't think of his name.
Icarus, yeah.
Icarus, Sprite, and there was one other character the one that was in the gay couple, Ajax, or that's not Ajax.
No. It was
Fastos.
Fastos. Yep. Fastos was cool when he like locked down Icarus. Like that is one of the few scenes that sticks out in that movie for me. When he like locks down Icarus and he's like, "I've been trying to clip your wings for a long time." And it's like, oh shit. Anyway, let's stop the Eternals review.
Yeah.
I was gonna say we're just turning into an Eternals review. So let's give our rating. So I don't know if you know our rating system here, but usually we give it something like out of 5 out of something. Usually you can choose whatever thing
like
it's usually related to the film.
A noun, a noun of your choice, and then we do a 5 scale.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go 4.5 teeth wheels out of 5.
I knew it was gonna be something bad. I
was thinking between that and Lila arms.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah, teeth wheels. So 4.5 teeth wheels. I cut one of them in half.
Yeah.
What about you, Elias?
Me, I didn't think of a thing. I would give it 4.5 high evolutionary faces out of 5.
Just the face being ripped off.
Yeah, just the peeled face.
This is a mask. It was like a Scooby-Doo moment where they grabbed. It's like. There you go. So
the
this has been
Universal Med Pack.
Yeah, but yeah, this has been our review of Guardians. Go out and watch it. We really enjoyed it, and thank you, Mike, for joining us for this review. This has been fun, and hopefully you guys enjoyed also. Remember to like, subscribe, support your local comic shop, and read comics. See ya.